Trump doesn't win this election, it's the last election we're going to have. The Democrats, the Dem machine, has been importing so many people, bringing in so many illegals, flying in with this like CBP border app thing nobody even knew about, like secret program. That's illegal, basically. It's illegal, but there's no action by the DOJ to actually to stop it from happening. They're transporting large numbers of illegals to swing states. If you look at the numbers, these are the numbers from the government website. There are triple-digit increases in illegals to all the swing states, and in some cases, it's like 700% over the last 3 years. Now, these swing state margins are, sometimes 10, 20,000 votes. So what happens if you put hundreds of thousands of people into each swing state? And when they do so, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. So my prediction is, if there's another 4 years of a Dem administration, they will legalize so many illegals that are there that the next election, there won't be any swing states.
When Barack Obama won, we had the highest African American turnout in the history of this country. Democrats realized then, if they wanted blacks to come out in the highest numbers, they had to put a black person at the top of the ticket. The rate of black voters dropped with Hillary, and so with Biden, they picked a black female VP to get him close to winning. That's when they realized they don't want to keep putting blacks at the top of the ticket. So to remedy that, let in 25 million immigrants who will vote Democrat, and they don't have to worry about the black vote anymore. This was an insult to black people, this election. They put a black face in front who was being controlled by the Democratic machine. And this was the election that would have basically exterminated black people. They put Planned Parenthood in inner cities to make sure black babies are aborted. They then teach a gay agenda in schools so that if you have gay men, gay women, you stop the population growth. Then they bring in immigrants, 25 million according to Elon Musk, that are going to take jobs, resources, housing. 77% of black men voted Democrat in this election. 91% of black women. A total of 85% of blacks voted Democrat in this election. No other race voted so high for Democrats than black men and women. And black men and women were the collateral damage of this administration. Let that sink in. Let's do some arithmetic. About 47 million blacks in this country, 18% live below the poverty line. That's about 8.5 million people. 25 million immigrants coming into this country. And they're only telling you, the Democrats are only telling you about the ones that they documented. For every one documented, there's one undocumented. One or two undocumented. So there's roughly about 25 million immigrants that came in under the Biden administration. They're going to work off the books for less than minimum wage and no benefits. That displaces an enormous amount of black workers and Latino workers who want at least minimum wage and who want health care and pension plans and things of that nature. So when you have undocumented workers, it automatically pushes the American worker out of the picture. They can get free hospitalization under Obamacare. That means if you go to the waiting room, it's full of immigrants, you and your American citizens cannot get treatment. When there is an abnormal population boom, such as allowing 25 immigrants into the country, that puts a strain on the already strained aspects of the country. So that means people in the military, the homeless, the mentally ill people, the bottom living in poverty, Latinos and Hispanics and whites. And then it's going to impact the middle class and drive some of them down into poverty. So this was catastrophic for black people. Anyone that voted Democrat in this election voted against black children, with this LGBTQ agenda being pushed in schools, the woke agenda in women's sports, the woke agenda with inmates being allowed to change their sex on the U.S. taxpayers' dime, the woke agenda in school that are teaching our children to be comfortable with homosexuality. All of that means your children were collateral damage. Black men, black women were collateral damage in this election. And yet I heard black men say they voted because they wanted their daughter to know that she could aspire to the highest office. And black women said this was female empowerment.
I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy's doing great. A 12-pack of Bounty is $40. It is tough love time for the Democratic Party. I think it needs to be stripped down and rebuilt. I think that means a change in leadership. It's insulting. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting. For the working class to see incoming migrants getting welcome bags, debit cards, and motel rooms is probably insulting as well.
Black female empowerment is not external. It's internal. It's not what you look like. It's not how you dress. It's not how much makeup you have on. And it certainly isn't voting for a black female for president when there is a machine behind her that has black people at the bottom of its list. There's only 1% benefit to voting for Kamala. The things she outlined will only benefit 1% of African Americans. That means there's 99% detriment, 99% harm to black people having Kamala Harris as president. It's not her. She was a puppet for the Democratic Party. It is the Democratic agenda that eliminates black people.
Getting on my Uber and I was like, this is a perfect time to do a little first date icks, because I have a lot. You're lucky enough to even land a date with me and you show up empty-handed. Not a flower, not a chocolate, not a teddy, not a nothing. You're never gonna see me.
I heard black women say they voted for Kamala for female empowerment. They said that with their fake Malaysian hair, their Botox, their fillers in their lips, their BBLs, and all of the fake things that they put on their body and in their body. They said that with a straight face, with no filter. They believed they voted for Kamala Harris because it represents black female empowerment. Let that sink in.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but when you be real and you be authentically you.
Y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking. Let's rock.
You bringing these people over here that's from socialist countries and all this and that, and y'all think y'all gonna run that here. Black America said, no, you not. The true white Americans are saying, no, you not. The true Latino, the true Asians are saying, no, you not. I'm telling you, Brandon Johnson, from my heart to yours, Trump 2024. No more blue, no matter who. Donald J. Trump. Trump 2024. He gonna stop the bleeding. He gonna deal with this sanctuary city, and he gonna help us get you out, and he gonna get you anybody out who roll with you, who think they gonna tear up Chicago. Y'all getting out too. This is America. You bringing these people over here that's from socialist countries and all this and that, and y'all think y'all gonna run that here. Black America said, no, you not.
85% of black people that voted Democrat because they voted for the puppet that was in front of the machine. They voted against black children, black families, black men, black women. They voted for superficial reasons that have no long-term benefit. They voted for someone that said they're not doing anything for black people. They voted for a system, the Democratic machine, that is annihilating black children, annihilating black men's jobs, annihilating the middle class and shoving them into poverty and shoving the poverty into cemeteries or prisons. 85% of black people that voted Democrat in this election voted against their own self-interest. They voted against their children. They voted against their families. They voted against the entire black population for superficial reasons. Let that sink in.